So we'll place the block between the legs, comfortably underneath the hips. I'm going to put it long ways there. And your feet to the edge of it. Just get comfortable, or use a bolster or use a blanket. So it depends on how high. I'm going to go a little bit higher. Or don't use it at all. If you want to get a little bit more action with the feet. We'll just bring our hands down, facing down on the thighs, relaxing through the upper arms and the elbows. Just take a moment to sort of nest through that mid and lower section, walking around on whatever foundation you've chosen, and then we'll close our eyes. And feel free to sort of do micro movements just to sort of drop into the body, feel your way into the practice. Because sometimes becoming, or the attempt or effort to become still is difficult. So here, bringing slight micro movements into it kind of draws us out of that cranial brain and links us in with our bodies, our energy bodies, our physical bodies, the other brains, heart brain and belly brain. And just take a couple of settling breaths in your own sort of time, at your own pace, to just untether from the morning and be deliberate about the day we're all going to have, and just pocket this time. It's like putting sound canceling headphones on. Everything else, nothing enters anymore except the rhythm of our breath, and perhaps being curious, building some heat, strength and balance, and I hope have some fun. So let's keep the eyes closed for a moment more, bringing sort of that inward gaze to the lids themselves. Feel them soft, sort of gracefully caressing the eyes themselves, so no squinting or hardness behind there. And then we'll just bring the hands and rub them together quite vigorously, 10, 20 times, whatever you start to feel. You can test it by stopping and feeling the tingliness. That's energy between the palms. Just feel that heat. And then we're going to take those palms and bring them, the heels of the hands on the cheeks, the thumbs at the temples, give or take, and the fingers across the forehead. And just let that heat sort of soak in. And then make a few rotations. The eyes are still closed, but behind those lids, those closed lids, we're going to just take the eyes and look to the right, and look up, and look to the left, and look down. Maybe do another round. And then switching directions. Nice. And then coming to stillness, setting the gaze now downcast. So feeling them sort of feel the heaviness of the eyes, the unfocused. And we'll just open them, keep the palms there for a moment, and then slowly remove the palms. And we'll take just a little neck movement now. We'll take both arms, say the left one under the right. Bring the palms to the shoulder caps and sort of gently tug the shoulders down a little bit, away from the earlobes. That's it. And then just take that left ear to the left shoulder. Maybe just do a little bit of movement there, and then bring it back up. Undo that hold and double cross the other way. Again, giving you a little gentle tug down, engaging the belly. So at your navel center, the belly button, sort of draw it in. You'll feel the energy pull in and up. And then over to the other side, stretching out the left side of the neck. Maybe a little tweak up and down. Just little movements. And then back to center. Good. Undo those arms, bring them back to the side of the body like we're holding a tray, with the palms facing the ceiling, the shoulder caps wide. And then just close into a fist and open into a starfish as wide as you can through the fingers. bones of the fingers again. Close and open, close and open. You can stay like this if you want. I just rather you not compromise space for speed. Yeah. But if bringing more heat here, going faster, you'll feel that work. And when you start to feel that tingly, that's actually in your forearms, well, in your hands too. So you want to be feeling in downward dog. That's the active part of downward dog. Do a couple more of these, waking them up. Nice. And then slow it down. And we'll just do gentle rolling of the wrists. Doesn't matter. You can do it your own way. What we're trying to do is bring movement to the wrists themselves. Okay, just circling them. That's it. And then bring the left hand to the left shoulder cap and just draw a circle with the point of your left elbow kind of up, down, and around. Doesn't matter. So kind of big, slow, just feeling our way into that area. Backwards though, okay? And then do the other side. Backwards. We already have quite a good tendency of forward folding. So I tend to do these often uni-rotational sort of back instead of forward as well. Anyway, that's what I chose to do today. Okay, that's it. And then come down. And finally, taking the fingers themselves, bring the pad of each finger to the other, its neighbor. Bring them in, press them in, and really bring the palms together. Fingertips looks to the ceiling. There's quite a lot of pressure. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Keep that there as you're breathing. Good. And then release the pressure for a moment. Keep the elbows wide. And we're going to press the elbows together and press the palms together. Feel the outside of the arms resonate, and then release that pressure when you're opening them up. Don't bring super wide. It's a small movement. Press and squeeze. So we're getting into the upper back and sides of the arms. Press, squeeze, and when you widen your arms, release the pressure. Press a couple more of those. Oh, yeah. And one more. Good. Okay. Come down. We'll just come from that block. Put it to your side. Bring your legs together and stand on your shins. So it look more like this. And let's just noticeably draw the inside of your heel inwards, because the default will be to fall out and splay the top heel. So try to bring them in. Stack the ears over the shoulders, over the hips, over the knees for a moment. And just keep the arms down by the sides, kind of reaching for the ground. So you feel a stretch across the top of the shoulders. And simply lean back, tug the belly in. If you feel it in your lower back or your chest, that means you're doing a back bend, and it's not a back bend. It's a hinge from the knees. It's really strong. You feel it here. Try not to squeeze the toes together. Just do a couple of these, warming up the front of the body, the thighs. Like some people can go all the way back. No way. You might hear popping sound. There's just air pockets in the knees, okay? This should not hurt anywhere, but it's pretty intense. This time when you come back, stay back there. Just soak in the heat. Find the alignment. You might have to draw this area from pubic bone to navel and navel to diaphragm in a little bit to support this. Feel the thighs react. Good. Come up. Now we're going to hinge in this kneeling utkatasana. So spread the glutes towards the heels, pull the belly in so you don't feel saggy in your lower back. Keep the arms as we had them and just simply reach for those heels. Again, don't compromise. Always find the fullness that works for you, because if you go too far, the body just releases and you've lost that tether and that yoke. So come up and let's do a couple of those pulses back, heating the hips, bringing some nice rich movement to the hips. Go back. Nothing else. So from the crown to the tailbone stays in one line. So you're getting all this deep macro movement for the hips themselves. A couple more of these. Really spread through the center of the glutes as you reach towards the heels. You will not reach them. One more. Come stacking. Again, before going into the next sequence, find the foundation, which are the shins, the top of the feet, and the space between the toes. Keep kind of going there. You know, it's better not to have to look, but we're going to do a little flow for opening now the back of the body. It's not heating, it's cooling and opening. So arms come up shoulder height, but the elbows remain soft. No stiffness here. Kind of feel like just graceful. And then we're going to swallow up the front of the body, reach the backs of the hands to the floor, and reach the arms back. Reach the crown to the floor. Dome the spine. Inhaling back up. We'll just go slowly this time. So breathe in the shape. We get to know it. And then Exhaling the hands to the back of the hips, elbows really stretch towards each other. Inhale, this kneeling camel, which is a heart opener. So you expand the chest where the collarbones are, squeeze the belly in, and release the arms down and feel how that feels. Now we're doing it on the side of the breath, like vinyasa would do. So inhaling, fullness of the breath, there's that pause. Exhale, scoop the belly in, round the spine, and anchor the crown towards the ground in the hands back. Inhale, come back up, restacking. Just put my hair up. Exhale, move that space, feel the back of the hips, and finish with that squeeze of the elbows, pressing kind of forward. Inhale, expand the front upper ribs, and then feel them come back to where they like to rest, which is much more comfortable. In, soft, moving to that space. Exhale, pull the belly in, reach the crown to the ground. Inhaling, up. Feel the shoulder blades kind of move to the spine there, and then they'll stay anchored. And then spread out, feel the lungs buoyant in the front of the chest. Squeeze the belly in, find neutral. Last one. In and over. It's a wonderful warm up. Look at all the joints that are moving with the breath. Inhaling up, exhaling to the hips, elbows. Inhaling, spread the chest. And exhaling, come down. Let's just sit on the heels for a moment. If that's too much, you can stay like this. We're not staying here for too long. We're using it just as a sort of grounding because we're spraying ourselves out. Okay, come back up and we'll finish this part by taking the left leg out. So we're gonna do gate legs. So take the toes to look to the ceiling and it's straight out. Try not to have that left leg forward or back. Try to keep it in line and that arm is open. Right arm reaches up. Open it when it comes to shoulder height and keep reaching it up, trying to feel the line uninterrupted to the pinky or to the middle finger, really. And then slowly, keeping in mind that you're trying to stay sort of open through that right side. Start to fold. It's not going to be your deepest fold. I pulled the muscles. I'm not going to, but over there, keep strongly flexed in that left ankle. Toes looks. Or this is a side bend. You can, this is a really great one to feel and get comfortable with side bends versus hinges. See one side swallowed up, exposing, oof, and down. So just close the toes up and bring that foot in. Heel a little past the knee because we're going to go into this area now. And the left arm braces a bit. You choose how much. Maybe no brace, maybe lots. And now we're gonna slide over and explore this area. How do the left toes feel? Spread them out. Nice big full footedness and nice tall spine. Yeah, let's lift that heel of the left foot. Does it change things? It does for me. Should be okay through that right shin. Yeah, put that heel down. When you feel it, press to the heel primarily, come up. That's activating the hamstrings. Bring the leg in. Take it out to the other side. So stretching the leg, right leg. So this is an external rotation for this leg. So there's quite a lot of work for this hip to let go of its pinching. Arm open. Left one opens and spirals. Continues up. Try to feel the movement coming from the hip or the knee, not your shoulders. So just reach up and then slowly take your side bend, squeezing up the right rib cage. So this side has your liver on it. I'm mirroring you. So breathe, expand, breathe into those little dark spots that might be a little bit tight, and then up, toe in, toe out, adjusting for your length. Right arm braces. Start to drift. You'll feel the sensation of rolling to the inside of that left knee and shin. Should still feel okay. There's no pressure on it. Right? With that hand, you choose the brace and almost take the body as you breathe a little bit towards the left, because it's going to, this is what will make it feel really less intense. So we've got to try to work with that, being really present. Lift the heel. Allow for, so for me, it's not that big on that side. I'm hot. Okay, put the heel down, come up, bring the leg in, sit back for a moment, just a moment. And we're gonna reach, start to walk the hands forward, start in an extended child's pose. That means the hips kind of stay as far back as you had them. Allow the movement to happen in the trunk to the crown. Just creep the fingers up, spread them, plant them down, and lower the forehead. Take a moment to kind of press into the sides of the body as if you're in downward dog, or that other one, that imaginary door frame. Sort of push yourself sideways, expand side. And then we're going to look at the space between the thumbs. So lift the gaze up, the chin will lift too. And bring your shoulders forward and up. Pull the belly in. The elbows track back slowly. Exhale, maybe millimeters, maybe just think about it. Definitely no lower than the elbows. Press the ground away, keep nice and broad in the chest. Keep the hands glued where they are and push back, okay? Another one of those. Inhaling, smooth exhale. We're all gonna exhale to a different spot, but no lower than the elbows. Press up, pull the belly in, hinge back, glue those palms down. One more of those. Up, sink. Press the ground away, bringing strength and back. Good. So up. We're going to take the right foot to where the right hand is, okay? So put it right there. Toes under of the left foot and lift the kneecap from the mat and just get long. Draw that right hip in towards your navel. Bring your knee down, the left knee, and relax the foot. Heel in, not falling out. So strong through the big and second toe. And then we're just going to come to a form of crescent. Right hand, left hand, press, kind of use that as kind of leverage to ease the quadriceps, the thigh muscles from bunching in your groin. Sometimes they pull down, just gives a little space. Create some opening here. Try to not feel loosey-goosey in your navel, because then your lower back is doing it and your hips have defaulted. So we want to stay nice and strong through here so that we're really focused on isolating this area. This is where you're breathing into. Yeah, okay, we're just going to do its variations. Pull back a little bit. Put the hand down on the mat beside the right foot, and just turn lift the whole right foot up and turn it out on an angle. Good. Put the right hand on the right thigh, and you're kind of looking down onto the mat. The gaze is on the spinal line, and just sort of drift forward to the hamstring and that left hip. There should be absolutely no knee funny business on the right side. Keep neutral in the gaze and soft in the neck and heavy in the hips. Okay, pop the hips back up. You'll feel alleviate the intensity. And now pull the heel out. So now you're coming toes look to the top of the mat, but you're wide, maybe right on the edge of the mat. Okay. Right hand is still on the right thigh. Turn the toes under of the left leg and lift up. And now we've got quite a strong diagonal, very strong back leg. We'll slide the hand, the right hand, down the right thigh and put it to the side of your right hip. And ease the hip in towards your navel, okay? And keep your foot glued and that back leg strong. Bring color to it all at once. And then slowly lower and straighten that left knee just a little bit. You can do pulses. You can just don't bring it all the way down. Try to keep neutral in the hips. It's pulsing the back leg. That's it. Good. And then bring that knee all the way down and release the foot. Put the right hand back on the mat and pop the hips up and just toe in, slide it back. And slide back, get out of the wrists, come to the forearms, elbows below the shoulders, and gaze is neutral down at the mat between the thumb tips, give or take. Stretch those arms back out, pop the shoulders up, take the left foot now where the left hand was, toe under of the back, and lift. And this is how you get your distance. Let's just be mindful not to let this right hip kind of travel with the leg and the left hip kind of pop out. We want to keep them as a pairing, neutral pairing. It's just trying to get distance for the leg, then lower it. Then pop up, drop the left hip, that's it. Left hand and then the right hand if you want. This don't have to be. And start to proceed to go into this hip opener, crescent pose, variation thereof, therein. We're not doing heart opener. We're trying to keep really columnal through the waist and the belly and the back body, anterior, posterior. Just stay really focused to feedback going on in the back leg or the back hip. So pop back up. The right hand down on the mat to help, and we're just turning the toes of the left foot out. You might scooch it a bit, but left hand's there. Neutral spine, looking down. See how you might move within the shape to see if there's something that interests you. Keep that breath moving. Pop back up. Take the heel out. You'll be at the edge of the mat, give or take. The left hand comes down to help support us, and we're going toes under the back foot, getting some nice action for that feet. Feel that firmness between the full left foot and the ball of your right. Spread them into the ground and away from each other. That's it. Fire, fire, fire up. Right hip drifts towards your right elbow, and the left hip drifts to the back of your mat. That's kind of what happens. And then the left knee stays still. So the legs, there's not actual movement. It's just idea of movement. Okay. And do bring that knee down, release the foot, bring the left one back, come to the forearms, take a neutral gaze, let the body adjust, and then we're going to take a deep side bend to the left, keeping rooted through to the heels and just expose this right chain from hip to the waist, the rib cage, the side of the shoulder, side of the arms, elbow, forearm, wrist, pinky, finger. It'll be enhanced, it'll be deepened on the inhalation, which is kind of nice. And then come to center and take it to the other side. Again, no expectations, just always observing, really. And come back to center. We're almost done here. Come to that classic table. Pull the belly in. Take a moment to play around with this shoulder. You see them just sinking. So the shoulder blades are spreading and they're collapsing around the spine. Just get that sense of that feeling of expansion through the upper back and contraction. A couple more of those. And then we're going to do bird dog, which is fantastic for balance and core strength. So left arm, right leg, alternate. Same height, really strong thighs. You can spread the toes of the back foot if you like. Bring the left arm down, keep the right leg as it is, and we'll just tap, slowly tap it down. No flying around, just slowly bring it to the ground, plug your belly up. 3 of them, one more time, down, tap it. Good. Down all the way, tuck it under, press into the heel. So now the back of the leg is long, and lift the left shin. You could hear what happened in my voice the minute I lifted the shin. And let's get some strengthening for the ankle. So just forward and back with this back ankle. You'll feel in the wrists. Don't have to go far. It can just be intention. Good. Back, put that left shin down. Bring that knee back. Take the right arm and the left leg right away. And I'd like you to feel sort of those hip points. They're not flaring out. They're staying neutral. Pull the belly and support these limbs. Bring that right hand down and then slowly tap the big toe up. So it's not huge movement down. Nothing else moves. Control. This time when we bring it down, press into the heel. So tuck the toes under because you want to get the extension through the Achilles, the back of the knee, and the hamstrings. Once you're there, lift the right shin from the mat, really firm up the core, and then do those pulses forward and back, bringing strength to that left ankle and heat and mobility. And you can adjust for tightness or anything. Don't move, do sense moving and don't actually do it. All these. Then shin down, left shin, toes both under at the same time. And we'll finish with a double lift. And we're just going to tap. So right hand taps the inner shoulder, puts it down. Tap, down, tap, down. Maybe you're going to do the elbow. Maybe you don't. But we're all lifted. Good. And then walk the hands forward while the knees are from the mat and begin to move into downward dog. Just gently finding the mat fully with the both hands, not the heel of the hands. Step it out. Reach it down. This is like opens the back body, strengthens the back body, strengthens the legs. It's an inversion. Find this high plank. Nice and long lines. Plug the belly in and come back. Think this wave. We've done it before. Inhaling plank. Exhale, downward dog. Smooth through the space. Inhale, feel the joints all warmed up. Body moving with the rhythm of the breath back. There's that pause. Inhaling, spreading. Exhaling, inverting. That's it. Okay, stay inverted. And we're going to bend the knees and walk the hands towards the feet. At some point, you'll get full-footed, at which point, come right up into a wide leg Utkatasana. Yes. And then we're going to soften the elbows and we're going to go into a ragdoll. From there, straightening the legs a bit, dangling the spine a lot, letting go of tension in the neck completely, and shoulder caps curl in towards the ears. Just soak up this, soak it up a little bit. Find your sweet spot if you need to get a little higher and you want to dangle. A little bit more. A little bit more. Slowly begin to roll up. Stop when you need to exhale. Maybe the fingers are tingling. The chin tucked until the very last unrolling of spine. We'll be standing at the back of our mat, feet beneath the hips, so they're slight, not too wide, right? And not slammed together. Yeah. Inhale, both arms up and open them in a V. So they're coming up, and when at the shoulder height, open them in a V. Maybe lift and open the chest. Good. And then swan dive to half stand here at the back of the mat. Inhaling in half stand. Exhale into that dangle so the hips don't move. They stay nice and high, the head. We just learn to release and strengthen now. Straighten the legs and reach to the crown, half stand. We could toss them with the arms out, shoulder height. Inhale, arms up in a V, thumbs look behind us. Bring it, smooth it back down. Let's do one more of those. Up, in, wide through the chest. Exhale, right over the standing legs. Taking the inhale here, just establishing that really strong lines into the ground, into the earth, and then dangle. Fill it back up into half stand. Exhale into chair. Hold the belly in. Inhale. And exhale smoothly back down. We're going to come walking to the top of the mat. But step the left foot forward and pop the heel of the right hand. Imagine you have two 10-pound weights, doesn't matter, but it just helps keep this idea that you're not cringing, that you keep it really spread from the neck and the ears. Okay, and then you drop right down to that heel if you can. You may not be able to. And you power it right back up through the hips and step forward. The same thing. drop it right down. It's harder than it looks. There's a lot of flexion and extension here. A lot of ankle. I'm gonna roll down and up, plug the belly and power it up from the hips and down. Power through that right ankle. You know, the front leg, it's that piston leg up. You may have more mat to do. Just keep going until you're at the top, or I'm going to hit my head. So we're at the top of the mat. Take a moment. We'll just put the one hand when you get there on the chest, the other one over that hand. Tuck the chin a little bit, elbows soft, look to the ground. Maybe sway a little bit between the feet. You might feel the beat of your heart. Just connect with that. And now take the hands, interlace them and flip them, bring them above the head. If that's not possible, it feels yucky, you can do this or lower the hands. That will always help. The lower the hands, the less intense it's going to be. We're going to turn to the right, slowly swivel to the right, keep the legs, everything looking forward and back to center. And to the left and back to center. Right, just smooth, wonderful, rich standing twist with the breath. One more to the left, to the center, to the right, to the center. Now go to the over, to the left. Same thing, side bend, strong down both those legs. Two more on each side. So over, stretch it, and up. So really kind of taking this opportunity to really get a sense and a feeling what it's like for expansion in the body, the stretch. That's it. And down. We're just gonna do Trikonasana to balancing half moon from the top of the mat. So a little short step or short-ish step back and a softness in that back left hip. So you do not feel strain in the back knee inside. If you do, let the hip soften forward a bit. We're going to do the variation by starting with our hands cradling our ribs, fingers on the front, so that, and elbows out to the side. It gives us real external external manipulation in the practice, so you can really feel if you start to side bend. This is a hinge, so nothing should change. Shift beneath your hands at your ribs. You start to shift your hips back, hinge over that front leg. If you start to feel closing up in your right, underneath your right hand, lengthen, adjust, keep adjusting, playing with the depth, playing with the space, playing with everything, stopping to observe. Who cares about the end result? Observe. It's way more fun. Like right now, I'm just focusing on the feeling, but underneath my feet, the sense of the mat, the grounding nature. It's not the deepest one. Now spiral open with that towards that top hand a little bit. What's going on in the neck? And then we'll just take the gaze down to the toes and hinge back up at the power of the legs. Let go. Got to stretch in the front of the shoulders there. Probably want to bend the front leg just to give you a little leverage, right? And I can't promote play. I don't know. I resist going into some static spot. So just play around with the movement of opening, maybe do it a couple of times, controlling the movement. That's interesting. Or I don't know if you happen to have your block or you want to go into full flight, you do that. But remember, when you come out, try to do it softly and that front leg is bent to find the ground. Pivot on the back foot and step forward. We'll do the same on that. Taking the right leg back, softening the back hip a bit, wiggling around, finding. Remember, this is not a warrior stance, so it's not super, super long. Hands. So if you feel that the elbows, we're sort of extending out through the elbows, that's how wide we are. Shift. So see, my heel was too far up and I was like feeling all limmy. So I've just adjusted and it feels far better. And then begin to find the depth that we can still practice and explore and be really present in. Remember, this is very strong for here. Beautiful use of the wall. Yeah, if you had a wall, that's nice. Good. Nice, creative. So some of us are letting go of the ribs and going into flight. That's great. See, you just, I love that. Look down at the toes. You don't have to do it right now, but that, and come back up. Soften. Start your balance on the left side, whatever that is. You may not, and you will not duplicate what happened on the other side. Everything new. That's it. Totally up to you. And then you'll remember to pivot on the back foot so the knee comes forward safely. At the top of the mat, take a moment to soak that up. It's like digest that little flow. Get a sense of where it's resonating, you know. And this is also in your own practice. This is where your intuition, give it space to birth something like a new flow. I wouldn't recommend going into something always knowing what you're doing. Okay, now we're going to go into closed hip flow with balance. So balance flow. So we'll start with the left leg is forward and the right leg is going to step back. Do whatever you want with the arms. I'm just going to keep them here for simplicity because this is about heat, strength, and focus. You want to extend the arms, you do that. And cradle, elbows back, keeps me mindful that this is staying open. We're going to step back with the right foot for a lunge. You'll learn how far. So I stepped up too. And we're going to do a lunge, not all the way down. Keep the benefit of having the hands here is you can really stay focused on what's going on with this hip. So straight pyramid pose, back down. Try to stay nice and tall because this is what it's about, not leaning forward. One more. Up. Okay. And now roll through and find some sort of a warrior three. Might not be your biggest one. This is the kicker. Control with the strength of that left hip and leg to find that lunge from that. One. We'll come to both legs straight. 2, 3. These are great when you feel kind of vatty and you need to focus. Roll through, power it up. Again, just doesn't matter what it is, what it looks like. But learn this transition. Stepping back. Last one. 1, 2. You don't have to go as deeply as I am. You can, it's just so customizable. 3. Float. But this time, instead of lunging, you're going to come back through, bring your knee up, cross it open, and do a figure 4. Keeping the hands where they are. So it's a wonderful little this posture after what we just did. Feel how we're moving our hips and releasing some of that tension, and then just stand. Bring the tongue to the palate, and that's let's go. Hands on the hips or whatever you chose. Stepping back, pyramid pose, drop. Pyramid pose, drop. Pyramid pose, drop. Flight or something. It's more about this transition. Remember, bending the front leg, finding the mat without dropping. 1. I can't look at you and do it. 2. And 3. It's fun. I'm smiling. Yee. Bend the front leg, find that, because bending the front leg brings the ground closer. 1, 2, 3. Again, you might be at your own pace. That's fine. And this is the one that we come through with the knee. I'm just going to move back. Cross it over that right lower below the quadriceps and sink into that left hip. Try to really get a sensation of vast opening through here. Yeah. Nice. And finished with those hips. It's only one side. I'm not adding a flow into it. You step back with the left foot back for a curtsy squat. And this time, bringing the arms, spreading the fingers, creating really big palms, and just working inside this. So micro movement, plug the belly in. Breathe. And the hands down. Step. And we could do well. Other side, right leg. So instead of twisting, we're going to keep it neutral. So the gaze is over the spinal line. We're dropping down. So notice this is a great opportunity to feel when we add arms. And this is a very heavy earth. If you're feeling Vata, I would practice it like this. If you're feeling all spacey, you need this grounding and earthing. But if it's too heavy and you feel, lifting up the palms just taps into the other energy and creates a more balanced posture, I find, but depends. That's it. Now, this top of the mat, we're going to roll down like we rolled up, but this time it'll be the exhalations that we allow to guide us down. So exhaling, make sure those arms dangle. Feel free to stay in a spot if it feels good for your body or the dangling arms. Flip the hands at some point, step back, bring the knees down, bring the forearms down, step back into this forearm plank, keeping that heat. Connect with the space between the shoulder blades, as well as in front at the chest. Arms down, and then lower the knees slowly. Let the hips come down, open them to the ground, and release the feet, and you'll be kind of in Sphinx. So we're going to create Sphinx by pressing a little bit further down, lifting the chest up. Draw those arms actively in towards the hips. Press down, lots going on. You know you've got it. Your lower back feels a little achy. You pressure through the hips. And two more. So bring the forehead at the hairline down to the mat. Slide the hands down the body. Turn the arms to face in. And imagine that you have a gentle sort of velvet cords reaching towards the feet. Okay, so easing the arms long down the body. Put some pressure through the hips. Keep the arms from touching the ground, no thumbs, and then start to lift up the chest. Be very comfortable with the chin. There's no leading with the chin. It's not going to go high. Just breathe here. Breathe. Breathe. Keep heavy through the legs if you can. Strong legs. Okay. Offer the hairline down so you're stretching the back of the neck. Bring the hands back up and flip them. And press the ground away for just a little gentle cobra. Going to something that feels good. And then push up. Back to kneeling, but we won't come to kneeling. I mean, I am kneeling. I'm going to do the mermaid twist. So I'm going to drop the right hip down. So it'll be hip. You can put foot in foot, crossing them over, or hip. Left hand over the right thigh. Right hand supports us in the back. Let's just try something a little bit different. So as the rotations, you initiate the twist in here. Normally the chin would go keep going to the right shoulder. Let's just move it as the chest is moving to the right. Bring the chin over the left shoulder. Pull the belly in, engage. Sit tall, spread the shoulders. And then bring the chin down a little bit. Gently. And then ease up. Bring it back to the spine and let the spine flip over the other side, getting full through the left. You know, you can always prop if you feel unsupported. Prop any which way you want. Let your right knee and stuff go a bit forward. Try not to cement your hips in the twist, because I think it's like the idea of pulling a plant, twisting it out of its pot. You know, you kind of gently let the pot turn with the plant a little bit. And when you feel or sense that you've come to the place that you can kind of really fill it in, do that. Bring the chin over the right shoulder now. Or left, well, everybody's actually, now I say everybody's on different sides, but that's what happens, right? Just the other shoulder, move away from the rotation of the spinal rotations here. Bring it back to neutral, let the spine come down. Come to the feet. And then finally, we're just gonna reach for the mat behind us, fingers looking towards us. Lift the hips from the heels, perhaps. We've done a lot of this shape, so it should come a little bit more easily. This, maybe not so. Hips come heavy to the heels, belly plugs down into the spine, and then we lift the shins away. May or may not. Oh, it feels heavy. Just sit down and swing the legs out in front. So both legs together. Forward sitting. And let's bring a little softness to the back of the knee so that you're not jamming and locking the knees, just a little. I wouldn't notice it, but you should feel a little less because it's pretty intense. So I'm just going to put the hand on either side. We won't go too far. We're just going to play around with seated Dandasana with a slight forward hinge. Notice how the jaw is feeling. Maybe going a little bit further. We're not going into full reach for the feet. Play around. Take the right foot. Put the sole of your right foot into the palm of your left hand. So it'll be something like this on your feet. Not like this. Make sure this isn't coming from the knee. Okay? See what it's like. See, I'm using my arm strength to bring the shin parallel to my chest a little bit more. So this is really much more comfortable. And if that's work, then you're going to have to play around with this, right? And this is how the hips will let you in. If you keep moving it in, keep this right thigh. Try not to let the knee fall out, okay? Just see what happens. Maybe cradling it. And if you do get it there or anywhere, you can bring slight micro movements into it. See where the work is richest. Or if you need to back away, all you need to do is get your leg to go farther away. And that will get off the gas pedal. And then help it down, and we'll go to the other side. Again, starting like this. Being patient to see where movement. Sometimes more movement and less binding is appropriate. See, on this side, it feels better to have less intensity, but a little bit more movement. Right. Put down reverse table in the classic way. Opening these upper arms, the biceps away from the body. Breathing here, reaching. And by all means, you could stay down here, right? And then we're going to come all the way down and open the fingers up, splay them a little bit more to the side. You might have to find your sweet spot. We're going to come up. Don't go all to the highest height. Take your right heel and bring it right under your bottom. So it's very strong for your toes. So some of us may find that too much. So just play around with this way. Okay. But if you can bring it right under and then see if tapping the knee to the mat is accessible or somewhere bringing the knee towards the mat. It's all about your right thigh muscles, the hip, and the front of the shoulders. And then come back and we can try it on the other side. So the heel comes right under. The toes are flexed. It's tons of work for the feet. So don't think it's. Oh. And that's it. Now, make sure that the block will be handy. We're going to separate or bring the legs together, excuse me, and put the hands on the hamstrings. Elbows now look towards the floor instead of the side of our space. Start to lean back until you feel something catch. If you need to find it, it's usually found when you coughing muscles. So cough. Once you find that, get ready to balance. The lines in this posture, they go up, over, and down, not down the body. So you want to feel the energy moving up from the belly brain to the heart brain to the cranial brain. You want to take your arms away, or do you want to do any variation of Navasana, which is boat pose? We're sort of doing it here. Go ahead and be creative with your own. Straighten the legs, take the arms away, myriad of things. Try to keep the chewing surfaces apart, and then you bring the feet down. Just wrap the arms around, let the chin tuck softly. And bring the soles of the feet together quite a distance from the groin. So not Baddha Konasana where it's jammed up there. If that's uncomfortable, don't do it. Just keep your feet like this. Let's come down. Bringing the body down to the mat or through the mid, upper back to the back of the head. Once you get to the back of the head, press it into it, lift the spine, and then plop it down. It usually just gets. Bring the hands in between the hip points, palms facing down the lower belly. Again, if your knee is tweaking, either one or both, then I would go full-footed on the mat, okay? Just, it's not about that. Slowly close up the pose, find the mat with the feet. The legs are bent. And bring the arms above that, like cactus arms or something kind of soft. Maybe the elbows are soft, to just palms facing the ceiling. And you're gonna take the left leg, cross it to the right. And drop it over to the left side. So the weight of that left foot is on the outside. Then try to keep nice and rooted through the upper back. Gazing over that left side for a moment, or neutral. We feel this diagonal, it's more than a twist, and then up, uncross, and do it on the other side. We find neutral, arms stay as they were, and plop over to the right. And you can keep moving your left foot over to the left if you need more. Again, don't be shy to create a little more depth if that's what suits. But it's nice if maybe you'll kind of get into the feel the or sense the lymph nodes that run up the side of the chest here. Okay, uncross, come back, bring the arms down by the sides for the moment. Reach for the block, press into the heels, and place the block beneath the hips on its lowest height. Make sure that it's not digging into the spine. Adjust where you need to. And if you're made that it's so comfortable, put hands on your belly, do that. I just like your upper arms to be on the mat too, so you don't strain. If you'd like to close your eyes, feel free to close your eyes here. Bring your knees up, calves and hamstrings softly rest against one another, and the ankles are really soft so the feet just dangle. Take the legs up. Progressing. Soft bend in the legs. Bring the legs down to the mat or the feet down, and you can, if it's okay, let them stretch out for a moment. Whether you both legs fall outward. If you have any uncomfortableness in your lower back, don't do it. Come up, take yourself from the block, or if you have another finishing posture you'd like to move into, go ahead and do it now. Otherwise, getting your eye bag or blanket or anything that you like, you do that and come into Shavasana or constructive rest. Allow those soundless and effortless breaths sink layers the fabric. Yielding anything residual you may no longer need. Just allow it to sink into the earth, neutralized. Begin very gently and gradually to sort of shift back through those cycles of breath, noticing the inhalation bringing you back through the physical limits of your body, the energy limits of your body, space, clear the space around you. Come to your side into sitting when you feel ready to move. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for sharing your practice.